riding through the city, we built to last. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show, where the game runs deep, truths unfold, grind on the field, hustle on court, Atlanta stands tall, that's real sport. Mercedes-Benz Dome, fans wild loud, ATL united, soccer game proud through the blood, sweat, tears we roll, every match, every game, players' heart, they soul. Georgia roots, deep as maple tree, hoops to home runs, touchdown spree, basket net sways, back cracks clear, victory echoes, always here. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show, where the game runs deep, truths unfold, grind on the field, hustle on court, Atlanta stands tall, that's real sport. Georgia roots, deep as maple tree, hoops to home runs, touchdown spree, basket net sways, back cracks clear, victory echoes, always here. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show, where the game runs deep, truths unfold, grind on the field, hustle on court, Atlanta stands tall, that's real sport.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you that desire to join us here on the broadcast, as we do each and every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. We broadcast live from somewhere, and we thank you for joining us here on the show. We're going to talk a little Super Bowl. We'll talk a little Hawks. We'll talk a little Falcons as well. We hope to get our contributor, D. Orlando Ledbetter, who's actually at the Super Bowl now, and we might even get a guest appearance by the Queen, Tree Dolman. As you know, she has been not on our show for a while, but I believe she's already at the Super Bowl. So we look forward to having her giving us an update, let us know what is happening there at Super Bowl 60, because the kid will not be there. But like you said, Tree is there, and hopefully she'll give us an update from Super Bowl 60 in the not too distant future. Hi, guys. Let's take a look at this for a second. Good news breaking from the Hawks, as Jalen Johnson is officially an all-star for the 2025-2026 season, and well-deserved by him. This young man has been an absolute beast. He has been really Mr. Everything for the Hawks, leads them in all categories. All categories. He leads them right now in scoring. He leads them in assist, leads them in also rebounds. The guy is virtually a triple-double all the time. He's a bad man. So we look forward to seeing him in an all-star game. We will not be able to be there, but like I said again, he is greatly deserved. This guy is virtually a triple-double at all times. So Jalen Johnson, congrats to becoming an all-star for the very first time. And this guy, like I said again, man, his stats are unparalleled. I mean, if you take a look at his stats, what he's done this season, like I said again, he's virtually been averaging a double-double for most of the season. I'll get his stats up for you in just a second. And the other thing, too, is we have some breaking news. I shouldn't say breaking news, but the Hawks are trying to engineer a trade. I was listening to one of the guys, ATL Hawks Talk, does an outstanding job of talking Hawks. And he's talking about the Hawks are trying to engineer a trade to get Miles Turner from Milwaukee. We don't know if that's going to happen, but certainly the Hawks are on the move trying to make something happen, because they do need a big man. There's no doubt about it. They need somebody that can be a legitimate rim protector. You can't expect, guys like Onyeka Okongwu, even though he's 6'9", got a 7-foot wingspan, he is not the biggest guy in the world. So again, looking for the Hawks to, do some stuff here as far as trying to get a big man in for them. And then, of course, we're going to talk some Falcons later on the broadcast. I want to get a feel from you. I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of interest in Super Bowl 60, I think because the Falcons are not playing or didn't even get a sniff into the playoffs. And also, to be very candid, I just might be a little petty, but the NFL has, especially here with the Falcons, have decided not to credential me. So I'm like, okay, well, good news. I will not be showing a lot of interest in the game. And like I said again, it's for me, it's not really a game that the two teams are not compelling. I'm not a big Patriots fan, obviously, after what they did to the Falcons, and to some degree, they kind of ruined, you know, my ability to be a larger sports show. So I'm not that excited about doing anything with them. But nevertheless, like I say again, we'll give you a little preview. I'd like to hear what you guys think about the upcoming Super Bowl. Love to get your opinion on it. Let's see what you think about what's going to happen here in Super Bowl 60. I think, personally speaking, that it's going to be a situation where the Seattle Seahawks are going to win this ball game. They have an outstanding defense. They are very stout, and they kind of remind you of the team that went to Super Bowl about a decade ago, ironically, and played against the Patriots. And had it not been for, I don't know whether it was fixed or what on earth happened, but it had not been for a ridiculous play call, the Seattle Seahawks would have been back-to-back champions. And who knows, we might have been talking about them as a dynasty themselves, because that was a team that probably was good enough to get back to Super Bowl again the next year. Because think about it, they would have won back-to-back years. They would have knocked off, that defense would have taken down two of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And now you have a situation where the swagger on that team would have been off the charts. And I think with the young guns they had right there at that time, all those guys were in their prime. Everybody, beast mode, Russell Wilson, all in their prime. And I think at those guys, if anybody could have won a third straight Super Bowl, certainly that Seattle Seahawks team, I think, would have been able to do it. But at the end of the day, it's that's water over the bridge. Patriots won it, and they were able to really, I think, establish the legacy for Tom Brady in that Super Bowl. Because once he won that and the way they won it, and coming from behind like that was incredible. Let's go to social media here, and we got Nisi_J saying, hello, what's up? How you doing? I'm doing something a little different. Tonight, some of my co-hosts have not yet joined me, so I'm going to do this. If you guys want to hop in on this broadcast, now again, I'm put a couple of restrainers. No cussing. Please come on properly dressed. Or you can just hide behind your avatar if you like. If you would like, in fact, to join us on the show, here it is right here. Here's the link. You can post this either in your browser, on your laptop or phone, and voila, you can join us here right there. Here it is. Here's the link to come on in and come on in. There's right there. There's a link. You can, like I said, put it in, and you can jump in here and join us and talk a little Hawks, talk a little Super Bowl 60 preview. We would love to have you guys join us here on the broadcast as we do our little impromptu broadcast here live from the studios here just outside of downtown Atlanta. Here we go. Baby. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Like I said, again, love to have you guys join us and talk a little Hawks, talk a little Super Bowl, which we'll get to in just a second. But let's go back to the Hawks here. Hawks, like I said, Jalen Johnson having a spectacular year. As I mentioned, going to the NBA All-Star game, his stats, incredible. 23 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. That puts him in. Let me just break this down for you here. This was a tweet out of StatMuse. The tweet was as follows. You got to check this out. This is incredible here. Here is their tweet about Jalen Johnson, what he's doing this year. It's absolutely incredible. Let me try to get out of this here so I can read this post. It says, players averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 or more assists this year. There are right now a grand total of 3 players that are doing it. One is Nikola Jokic, the Joker. 2 is Giannis. And number 3 is Jalen Johnson. Those other 2 guys that we just mentioned, they, of course, are MVPs. 3 times for Jokic and twice for Giannis. So the numbers this guy's putting up are incredible right now. The big difference is, and this is where lies the rub, The big difference is that the Hawks right now are floundering in the, I believe, 10th overall spot. They really right now they're playing team. So that's the only problem with what this guy is accomplishing. But we don't want in any way, uh, overlook what Jalen Johnson is doing this year. This guy is without a doubt one of the best players in the NBA. And all we need to do is get this guy some help. And you will be surprised on what this team can do. 20th overall pick from out of Duke back in 2021. He scrapped through the G League, found himself on the bench back and forth for this Hawks team, but finally got some playing time last year in significant numbers. And then, of course, when Trae Young went down, we saw what this guy really is all about. He is a dominant player in the NBA right now. He's got all the measurables. And again, I think if the Hawks can find a way to legitimately get a rim protector, this is a Hawk team that certainly can be a threat to make some noise in the playoffs in a way that they have not since the, really spectacular 2021-22 season where Trae Young had everything clicking for the Atlanta team. They just had the right chemistry. Everything was on and popping. So, like I say again, I think that it can certainly be done with Jalen Johnson. Let's take a look at the stats. As I mentioned, Hawks are languishing at 24 and 27 in 10th place. They're half a game behind the Bulls, who have the tiebreaker with them right now. But here's the good news, Hawks fans. They are just 3 games out of 7th place. As a matter of fact, they're playing the 7th place team tonight, the Miami Heat, and they are just 5 games out of the 6th spot, the Philadelphia 76ers, the team they have beat earlier in the season. More good news for the Hawks. They are a very tough team on the road. When I say very tough, they're over 500. And usually if you have a good team or a playoff-bound team, you want to be 60% at home and around or just under 500 on the road. Sadly, the Hawks are just the opposite. They're 2 games over 500 on the road, and they're 5 games under 500 at home. If they can at least get that, maintain what they're doing here on the road, and get their win total at home to what most teams have, 4 or 5 games over 500, it's going to be on and popping. Hawks can really legitimately make a run deep into the postseason. So we'll take a look and we'll take a peek and see what they can do. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, please. Hang tight.
Looking for a vehicle? Come to Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We're a family-owned dealership that's been serving the Atlanta area for over 40 years, offering an unbeatable selection of new Fords, Lincolns, and pre-owned vehicles. Enjoy our exceptional customer service and great financing options tailored just for you. Visit us at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in Morrow, Georgia, located just 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Call us at 678-364-3979 or visit online at allenvigilford.net.
Congratulations, Amici, on your new F-250 that you got from us. How was your experience here at Allen Vigil Ford?
Thank you so much, Jonathan, man. I appreciate everything you did for me, man. This is awesome right here. And you did, your service is impeccable, man. I really appreciate everything you did for me.
Appreciate you, man. Congratulations. And I guess, based on your shirt,
yes,
go
sir.
Hawks.
Let's go Hawks. Let's get that good draft pick tonight, baby.
Yes, sir.
We're going to championship, man. We're going to win something now.
Francisco, congratulations on getting a new truck from us here at Allen Vigil Ford. How did you like the experience this time?
Thank you, Jonathan. All good. All perfect. Thank you.
Yes, guys, you notice they mentioned my name. So, yeah, believe it or not, I sell cars for a living. This is just a wonderful sidelight. But I do sell cars for a living. Hit me up, 678-410-9833 on my cell. We'd love to connect with you. If you need a car for yourself or a family member, hook me up right there, 678-410-9833. Shoot me a text. And we would love to help you out. We got new Fords, new Lincolns, used cars of every type. So, again, hit me up, 678-410-9833, or call me on the work phone, 678-364-3979. Let me see if I can pop that up on the screen for us. 678-364-3979 is the way you can reach me directly at the work spot at Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They are our title sponsor for high school football. There's the number right there. Bam, there it is. Give me a call, 678-364-3979. Again, we're talking a little Hawks with Jalen Johnson and what he's trying to accomplish, being an all-star. We'll also talk a little bit about the Falcons and, of course, a Super Bowl 60 preview. And let's just take a look at this game here. We have the Patriots and the Seahawks, basically the two best teams. Patriots 17-3 overall, and the Seahawks 16-3 overall. If you say there would be an advantage, the Seahawks will be playing in a stadium that they're very familiar with because they play the San Francisco 49ers in that stadium. So, they're familiar with this. They played in the stadium for years and years and years. So at the end of the day, you would think the Seahawks would have a slight edge here over the New England Patriots. The other thing, too, is the defense for the Seahawks is stout. It's stout. This team is a very tough team to beat. Defensively, they make very few mistakes. They are, like I said, again, stout in multiple areas in the defensive backfield. Let's take a look and see if I can grab some stats for you here about how this team panned out overall as a team. Let's take a peek here at their stats. And the biggest story really is Sam Darnold. I mean, that's really, he's been the big story for this team all year long. Let's take a look at let's take a look at Sam Darnold's stats here. First of all, in the two postseason games that he has played in, he's been almost perfect. 470 total yards. He's at a passer rating, his completion percentage is just under 70%. 4 touchdowns, no interception, even though he's been sacked 5 times. He's got a passer rating of 122.4. The other thing has been Kenneth Walker III, their running back, has also did what he needed to do. He's averaging just under 100 yards a game, 38 carries, 178 yards, 4.7 yards a carry, and 4 touchdowns. And then last but not least, Jackson Smith-Njigba, 16 targets. He's got 13 receptions, 172 yards, 13.2 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. So the Seattle Seahawks have their own version of what Dallas used to have, the triplets. They got 3 guys on offense that can hurt you on the ground, or, of course, Sam Darnold with his passing. And a big shout out to Sam Darnold, a guy that a lot of people kind of put on the scrap heap, but this guy has been an absolute beast. Let's take a look at his regular season stats. Again, spot on. An MVP type season for Sam Darnold. He had completed 67%, almost 68% of his passes for over 4,000 yards. He had 25 TD passes and just 14 interceptions. Overall passer rating of 99.1. A guy that a lot of people want to know part of. If you think about this, think about the Vikings, a team that had Sam Darnold, won 14 games. Unfortunately, Sam kind of petered out in the playoffs. They decided, hey, we don't need this guy anymore. We'll go with an untested rookie. Well, I guess that didn't work out too good now, did it? Again, Sam Darnold, to his credit, absolute beast. And the other thing, too, is why he had a serious Pro Bowler to throw the ball to in Jackson Smith-Njigba. This guy, 119 receptions, just under 1,800 yards, 15 yards per catch, 10 TDs. This guy was an average of over 100 yards a game. Can't get too much better than that. And on the ground attack, Kenneth Walker held up his end, 1,000-yard back, horses in 17 games, but 5 touchdowns. And, you got the bully, Zach Charbonnet. That guy had 12 TDs, and he rushed for 730 yards. Yeah, man, I just think that Seattle is going to have a little bit too much for the Patriots to get them, like I said, again, playing in a field that they're already familiar with. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to cap this thing off, get some revenge from their loss from 10 years ago, and get their second NFL Super Bowl title for the Seahawks. That's my pick. And, of course, I'm a little bit biased because really don't like the Patriots too much because of after what they did to the Falcons. And really, I hate to be kind of in my feelings, but it really kind of shipwrecked me because I had covered the Falcons all year long. And you know, I just knew that I was going to be him. I was going to be the guy that was a sought after reporter, being from the area. I just thought to myself, it's going to be on and popping. Well, not so much. Like I say again, it was absolute disaster. Once they lost, nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody cared. And at the end of the day, it was just, like I said, very disappointing to not be able to, you know, take this thing to the next level and to be able to, you know, really blow up in terms of a sports reporter. So let's take a look at the New England Patriots. Let's take a look at their stats. Again, this is no slouch. Drake May, he himself had an MVP type season. Let's take a look at his stats right now. And we'll take a look at the New England Patriots stats. Here we go right here. And let's take a look at their stats. Drake May has been an absolute beast. Like I said, MVP caliber season. Let's take a look at what he did. First of all, in postseason in 3 games, 533 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but the guy was brutally sacked 15 times. But he still was able to get this team to the Super Bowl. And let's look at his stats for the season. Again, very impressive. Like I said, basically an MVP type season. Let's kind of break them down here as soon as we can get everything to kind of pop up here. Here we go. Let's look at the regular season for young Mr. Drake May. Big time stats, guys. 72% completion rating, 4,394 yards, 31 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions for Drake May. Overall passer rating of 113.5. And then the way the Patriots kind of attacked you is they versatile ground attack led by Trayvon Henderson, 911 yards, 5.1 yards a carry. Then you also had Ramondre Stevenson. He had 603 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. And here's the kicker right here. This is what makes the Patriots a team that you can't count out. Drake May had 450 yards on the ground himself with a 4.4 yard average and 4 TDs. From the ground, you had 20 touchdowns from that backfield of May, Stevenson, and Henderson. Patriots had over 2,000 yards on the ground. They ground and pound you. Now, they still can kind of get you a little bit. Stephon Diggs, 85 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hunter Henry, remember him? From Alabama. Big tight end, big time year this year for the Patriots. 87 targets, 60 receptions, 768 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also got from Kayshon Boutte. He was their deep threat, 16.7 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. Per reception, 6 touchdowns for him. So even like I said, I like the Seattle overall. The Patriots are going to be a tough out because their offense can slow this game down on the ground. Drake May is mobile enough to, I think, get out of some trouble. Even the Falcons end up sacking him 5 times, I believe, in their game. So he is sackable, but he can hurt you on the ground. He can pick up scramble plays, especially when they need like 3rd down and medium. That's where I think he can hurt Seattle in this game and keep the Patriots in the ball game. So I like Seattle. Like I said again, some of that's biased because of the way they beat the Falcons. Some of that is it. But overall, like I said again, I look for the Seattle Seahawks to win their 2nd Super Bowl and get some revenge over the Patriots after their ridiculous loss about a decade ago. We're going to take a little break in the action, get ready for some of our guests to join us here. Again, you're watching the Real Talk Sports Show as we join you live from Metro Atlanta. A little Super Bowl 60 preview, a little Hawks talk, and very soon we're going to talk to Falcons in just a moment. In order to do that, you need to keep it locked right here for more. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
We're back here at the Real Talk Sports Show. As I mentioned, I am your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons. And we thank for those of you who joined us here on the broadcast. We're waiting for our other guests to join us here, talking a little Super Bowl. And like I said, we got a pretty good matchup. There's no doubt about it. Both these teams, you look at those stats and you see why both these teams were amongst the best in the NFL this year. Both of them solid on both sides of the ball. Like I said, I think Seattle is a little bit better defensively, and New England is probably a little bit better offensively. But nevertheless, I look for the Patriots to, again, do what they need to do and win this game. At least I hope they will. We'll see. Meanwhile, back here at home, there's been a lot of chatter around our Atlanta Falcons, a team, like I mentioned, over a decade ago, ended up losing stupidly to the New England Patriots in one of the most disastrous losses in NFL history, as far as Super Bowl is concerned. No team had ever come back from that type of deficit, and that has really haunted this city for a decade. And I got to tell you, it really changed the trajectory of this city, not just the team, of the city. Because here's why. You have a situation where this team, had they won the Super Bowl, I think a couple of things. Number one, when your city wins a Super Bowl, it kind of changes the dynamic of the city itself. The citizens, along with the team, have a different type of swag. Everybody wants to be connected to a winner. And so it's just a situation where people want to be somewhere where, in fact, people are winning. There's a like I said again, a certain attitude that comes with it. And for me personally, being a guy that year that was fully credentialed for the Falcons, covered them the whole season, and got a chance to cover them before the run-up to the Super Bowl, that last week before they left. I was at the practice repeatedly, had some great footage, got a chance to be there in Houston for the watch party and other things. And just, the idea of me being right in the middle of this run for the Falcons. And, it works. When you are part of the winning team, you cover the winning team, everybody wants to talk to you. And I felt that I really could have been a guy that was able to, been called upon. But anyway, like I said, the Falcons are making news now because they have a brand new regime headed by former Falcons great Matt Ryan is now the new president of football operations, taking over from the departed. Can't believe I'm drawing a blank. He's gone already. Rich McKay, a guy. A lot of people killed McKay and said the guy kind of hurt the Falcons. But see, the problem was with sports fans is people. It's all about what have you done for me lately. And the realities are, when Rich McKay came in with Arthur Blank and the original management team they had here, they basically made the Falcons relevant again. The Falcons in before Blank bought the team in 1998 had went to the Super Bowl. 1999 went to the Super Bowl, lost it, and then kind of fell off the cliff. Well, what he did to kind of revive the team, he brought in probably the most electric player ever to set foot on an NFL gridiron, which is Michael Vick. Electrified the city. I can tell you, in the tenure that Michael Vick was here before the unfortunate and kind of ridiculous dogfighting situation, there was an electricity around this city that was unmatched. Matter of fact, around the NFL, Michael Vick became must-see TV. Well, Arthur Blank did that. He basically said, hey, we're going to do everything we can to get him as the number one pick because he saw the potential as an entertainment factor. Then, after weathering a 3-year storm with controversy, no Michael Vick, bad coaching hires, bad team, with Rich McKay, they went out and hired Mike Smith and then drafted, against kind of the will of a lot of fans, drafted a young man at Boston College by the name of Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan then turned around and had a spectacular 14-year career got the Falcons to the playoffs 7 or 8 times, got them to the championship game twice, and then, of course, got them to the Super Bowl, which I just mentioned. And that year was an MVP. So he is now running the front office. The other thing they do, they brought in a young man from out of the Chicago. Let me see if I can make sure I got his name. Ian Cunningham, bright like Ryan, a fast tracker. Many people feel that he is one of the young bright minds here in pro football. And then they got a head coach that was a former 2-time NFL Coach of the Year in their head coach that they have from Cleveland. So at the end of the day, it's not like when you look at this team now, they're trying to reconfigure what they have and get this team back on the map with Stefanski, with Ian Cunningham, and with Matt Ryan. And you said, brother, what's about the news they got coming in? Well, I just mentioned about Ian Cunningham. Well, one of the things that is breaking here is the rumbling around Michael Penix, a guy that the previous regime drafted 8 overall, a young man that is already coming to the league with some age on him. He's right around 25 years old. And he's had a backdrop of multiple injuries throughout his college career. But let's get to the positive. The guy has an absolute cannon for an arm. He throws one of the best deep balls in the NFL. And he's a guy that has the potential with the right offense to really be a guy that I think can be an outstanding quarterback. However, because he does have an injury, and because the injury, he probably won't be ready really to start the season, here are some quotes that got everybody kind of buzzing here in Atlanta and around the country. And I'm reading this from this article from Heavy.com. This is what it says. It says, today, Ian Cunningham was introduced as the Falcons' new general manager alongside Matt Ryan, the team's obviously new president of football. The two answered a number of questions about Atlanta's future, but one response stood out. Ryan's non-committal answer on whether Michael Penix Jr. will be the Week 1 starter. This is what Ryan says. Neither of us are the head coach of the football team, so we can't answer your question on that. And this is according to ESPN's Mark Raimondi. He says, I think as we start to get into the process and dive deeper into the roster, how it currently stands, where it's going in the future, I think those are conversations that'll be a part of it. And keep in mind, Penix is rehabbing from a torn ACL that he suffered just in November. Okay? And the timeline usually is 9 months to a year. There's more comments from Ryan. He said, a quarterback's obviously very important, and we're excited about Mike and what he's doing with rehab. Ryan said, I've been up at the facility the last 3 weeks, and Michael's been in there attacking that, and he's in a good space right now. So we're excited about where he's at, but certainly a lot of discussions for us about the entire roster. So what Matt Ryan is saying, basically saying this is, look, man, we can. This is the thing that always kind of gets me about sports talk, which is why sometimes we don't get all the pop that some other shows get because we're not controversial. To me, this is a non-controversial statement. I mean, Matt Ryan, what's he going to say? We're going to commit to Michael Penix, a guy who's coming off of an injury. We're going to guarantee him to be a starter? No, absolutely not. Not going to happen. But I tell you what is going to happen. We're going to bring on one of our guests for the evening. This gentleman is very involved in the community here in Metro Atlanta. As a matter of fact, he even has put together a manual for success for young people called the Student Athlete Playbook. He's my good buddy, Buddy Brown, is in the building. Mr. Brown, welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. How you doing, Mr. Simmons?
Good, sir. Good, sir. How about yourself?
Hey, man, I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm glad this weather eased up a little bit for us. It's had a beautiful day today, so I'm very thankful and grateful for that by far.
Feels like springtime. Well, not that much, but after 19-degree weather, 58 degrees is a big difference.
Hey, big difference.
Big difference. Right. So we're excited about that, and we're excited about the Lord blessing us again with some more temperate weather. So we thank God for that. Because like I say again, I don't know about you, but you don't know about this yet. My bones evidently have reached a certain point in my joints and age that, in fact, when the weather starts to dip, my body, just like grandmama and them, can now tell, hey, something's up. It's like, it's damp out here. It's cold. I can now be a weather predictor. Oh, no, man, it's going to be cold out here. Because my joints are responding to that. So,
hey, well, let me tell you this. Unfortunately, I do know how you feel already. Because I had knee surgery way back in 1992. So yeah, man, I know a little bit about actually 91. I'm sorry, 91.
Gotcha.
Going into 92, and yeah, man, and my knees early on in my 30s, man, I start being able to predict the weather because of my knee and everything. So yeah, so I understand what you're talking about, brother. By far,
so you gained entry early to the
unfortunately,
the body weather predicting system.
Yeah, it started early, unfortunately, because of my left knee. But hey, it's all good, man. And we're just gonna keep it moving. Now I'm gonna tell you what works, Jonathan. You know, I know this is not a health show, but I'm gonna tell you what worked for me. The compression knee sleeves help tremendously. And in the winter months, you can wear the whole compression undergarment, the full like underwear, you know, from your waist all the way down to your ankles, man. So I recommend getting some of those. And so not the long johns, but the compression pants. And hey, man, work like a charm.
Okay, well, I got some compression socks. I got them.
Yeah, so now just get them to extend all the way up to your waist. And I'm telling you, covered for the winter.
That's almost like men's pantyhose. I got you. You can put them on. Joe, when I was a kid, Joe Namath used to advertise for pantyhose companies. So, okay, I did too much. I was doing good, but we did too much.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, shout out to what I'm saying. Shout out to Joe Namath by far. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what I'm talking about, John.
Right. So, by the way, I'm making no reference to that at all. I'm talking about something that will give you health benefits. Okay, we're not talking about any of that. Yes, sir. Well, look, man. We've been talking about the Hawks. We've been talking about the Super Bowl. First of all, what are your thoughts on Super Bowl? Do you have a team that you're predicting as the winner yet? Have you picked out a winner?
So here it is, Jonathan. New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks, both teams have had an awesome season, right? So I have a friend that I work with. He's a New England Patriots fan. One of my mentors, matter of fact, my original business mentor, Michael Sanders. Shout out to Michael Sanders, who taught me everything I know about business from the beginning. Misha Enterprises, our first ever business. So shout out to Michael Sanders. But he's a Seattle Seahawks fan. So what I believe is going to happen, because of the Seattle Seahawks defense, I believe, and the fact that Sam Darnold has found himself these past 2 seasons, in Minnesota last season, now in Seattle this season, and he's playing lights out, 2 great seasons back to back. So he has found himself truly. I believe because of that, he's the more veteran quarterback. He now knows he is supposed to be this top flight NFL quarterback that he was drafted to be when he was drafted very high. I think he was the number 2 pick, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe the Seattle Seahawks, because of their defense and the fact that their offense can most likely score more points than the New England offense, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. But I love the story of Drake May, second-year player. Looks like he's going to be a baller for a long time. I just think Seattle has all 3 phases of the game, a little bit more experience at the quarterback position, and I think that's how they're going to pull it off, because I think New England's going to struggle to score a lot of points, and Seattle is going to score points for sure, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game right there.
Well, it's funny you should mention it, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Let's go to the Santa Maria Times. So those guys are out there, and this is what it says. It says that the head coach, Mr. Mike Macdonald, he said if he wins, he'll be the first guy that's primarily a defensive coach calling all of his defensive plays to win a Super Bowl. Now, I thought that I forgot that Bill Belichick, as great as he was, he did not actually call his defense. He had defense coordinators. He let them kind of do that thing. Now, of course, he had enough sense to kind of make maneuvers, but that's it. Let's take a look at the stats. So the Seahawks had one of the best defenses in the NFL in the 2025 season. They set their own franchise record for most wins in the season, 14. They led the league in fewest points allowed, 17.2. in a time where teams score at will, and they were in the top 7 in both sacks and interceptions. And their defensive line has been stout all year long.
Yeah, Jonathan. It's no question. Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I don't know if you cut off on purpose or not, but that's exactly correct. This Seattle Seahawks defense, if you hear those guys talking in interviews and things of that nature, you hear them talking about the Legion of Boom and the fact that they respect the Legion of Boom, but they're their own men. And
no doubt.
The numbers that you just mentioned represents everything that you need. It tells everything you need to know. Hey, this defense is coming to play. Now, Mike Vrabel, let me tell you something. What he has done in New England to turn that around in one season, that's unbelievable, John. So now I do not believe it's going to be an easy game for Seattle, but I think they're going to pull it off at the end. And that's just because of the experience. I'm giving them the edge because of the experience at the quarterback position specifically, and that defense that you just mentioned. When you mention those numbers, hey man, that speaks for itself.
And they have played on this field multiple times. That's the other thing we forget, that Levi Stadium is the home of the Frisco of San Francisco 49ers, their arch rival, and they played on this field already this year. They already know what time it is. They have a field there. Their fan base, everybody, they're very comfortable coming into the stadium. Not look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's Super Bowl time. Everybody's going to be ready. But that is those small things that sometimes make the difference in a team winning or losing. Now, I'm just going to review one more time. I've given these stats out before. New England, what they're going to attempt to do is to take pressure off Drake May by trying to run that ball and control the clock. Their offense can do it. They rushed for over 2,000 yards. I didn't realize that this year. 21, almost 2,200 yards.
Wow, that's impressive.
Because they were balanced. You have Trayvon Henderson, 911 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, 603 yards. And oh, by the way, Drake May had 450 yards himself for the season. And Terrell Jennings, who they used for spot duty, has 73. So the bottom line is New England had a way that if you got him in a pinch, Drake May would use his legs to pick up valuable third down and things like that. And consequently, their average per rush pretty stout. Henderson 5.1, Stevenson 4.6, Drake May 4.2, and Gibson Drake May at 4.4 and Gibson at 4.2. Overall, a very respectable 4.4 yards a carry.
Wow. Well, you know this. I'm an old school guy when it comes to football. Hey, Jonathan, listen, when you can run the ball, running the ball is a quarterback's best friend. And if you can hand it, my coaches from little league all the way up to college, and I ended up, by the time I was, a junior in high school, I pretty much was a defensive guy, but played offense, all my life, all the way up to that point. And then, my junior year, I pretty much became a defensive guy from free safety and cornerback, and then played cornerback in college. But here's the thing. If you can run the ball and average 4 yards a carry, well, that's a first down, Jonathan.
Yeah,
4 yards on first down, 4 yards on second down, 4 yards on third down. That's a first down. So, hey, man, if you averaging 4 yards a carry or better, hey, man, you sitting very, very good with your rushing attack. So, shout out to New England. This story is amazing what they've done. Again, Vrabel's first year, Drake May's second year. Hey, New England is officially probably a problem again for the NFL.
Oh yeah,
for the NFL.
Oh, they're back. I mean, they're entirely back here. That team is deep. They're young, and they're going to be some damage. Now, again, on you talked about Seattle, a very well balanced team. Seattle is old school.
Exactly.
They're not spreading it out. They got basically kind of like the Cowboys triplets. You look at the numbers that Sam Darnold's put up. 99.1 passer rating, over 4,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Okay.
Yeah.
But their running attack, again, is stout. They got a 1-2 punch in Walker and the Charbonnet. Walker, 1,027 yards. Charbonnet, 730. Both guys had 4 yards a carry or better, with Walker carrying the toting it at 4.6 yards a carry. The other thing is that they have a stud at wide receiver and Jackson Smith, the jig, but you saw him ball out throughout the playoffs. The guy's numbers are incredible. I didn't realize 119 receptions, 1,793 yards. The guy averaged 15.1 yards a reception.
Yeah.
And 10 touchdowns. He averaged over 100 yards a game. Average. That dog will hunt all day, sir.
Well,
all day long.
Now, if you, again, see, just what's great about you, Minister Simmons, you spin those numbers, you spin those facts, and that's why it was so easy to get rid of Metcalf. Because they knew what they had. They said, hey, let's get Metcalf out the way and let this kid, this young man, do his thing straight out of Ohio State, man. So, hey, so when you start talking about these Ohio State receivers in the NFL, hey, I know LSU has some stout receivers in the NFL with Chase and Jefferson and those guys, but hey, what you seeing with these Ohio State receivers, and they about to bring one more to the league here very soon. Hey, this is unbelievable what Ohio State has produced in these last couple of seasons, man. So, hey, shout out. So I think it's Seattle, Tampa Bay, and then we got this third one, Jeremiah Smith, coming out next season. He'll be eligible to come out next season. It's crazy he was only a sophomore this year, but he'll come out next season. And so you're going to have three amazing wide receivers. And don't forget about this. Don't forget about this. Harrison Jr. is in the NFL as well. He's in the NFL from Ohio State too. He just has not shined like these other two receivers have. But he's due. And when he comes out, you're talking about 3 or 4 Ohio State wide receivers balling in the NFL. So, hey,
you're right.
Hey, amazing.
Listen, if you guys want to join in, we got a few more minutes on the broadcast. Jump in here. Again, we're going to put a little parameters, no cussing, and please be properly dressed because we are, a G-rated show. So there it is. You can put that link in your browser and your phone.
That's right.
And jump on here and chop it up with me and Mr. Barry Brown. Yeah, man. At the end of the day, it is, it should be an outstanding game. It's got all the makings of two teams that are evenly matched. And just like the first showdown between Seattle and New England, it should be one that come right down to the wire. But like I said, this time I'm going to give the edge to Seattle to not screw it up and go ahead and win this ball game. Because really, go ahead.
Go ahead, mister. I'm a whole mind.
It just hurts me. Don't be wrong. I want to take a little bit away from the guy that they call the GOAT, Tom Brady. Basically, you had some okie doke that extended this guy's career to have him put up the kind of numbers, because before those two okie dokes, Tom was sitting at 4 Super Bowl wins. You remember that? Because he ended up with 7 overall. He was at 4. Seattle, the Falcons, and then
Stop. You just gonna bring up the Falcons like that in my face, Jonathan? Oh,
and then Kansas City, the receivers all of a sudden get the drops. They can't catch anything from Patrick Mahomes, and so now we got 3 additional Super Bowl wins for the GOAT.
Yeah, we let him off the hook.
Anything away because at the end of the day, in those games, even the loss against Philadelphia, which could have been a win, but I believe Belichick was trying to prove that you thinking that you can carry this team and win on your own, but you can't. But that's a whole nother story. At the end of the day, think about it. Think about what he did. A guy who made the most important interception in Super Bowl history was asked not to play in the game and was weeping on the sidelines. Malcolm Butler was told, "You're not playing."
Yeah, well, let's look at it like this, Jonathan. Everything happens for a reason and things balance out, right?
Right.
So everything you just said is I agree with 100%. Yeah, he had some very fortunate things happen for him to get these seven Super Bowl victories. And you've heard this saying before. It's better to be fortunate than it is to be good.
Oh, no doubt. We'll put it.
They usually use the word lucky, but I don't use the word lucky.
Right.
I use the word fortunate.
Fortunate, blessed.
It's better to be fortunate than it is to be good, because watch. I'm gonna go a little bit into something that you talked about. Everybody in the world knows if Seattle gives the ball to beast mode,
right,
the game is over.
They
win the Super Bowl. Everybody knows that. Nobody on New England team was gonna stop him for 1 yard. Impossible.
Right. Not happening.
So we know that was a very fortunate situation right there that Malcolm Butler made that interception. Changed the course of Russell Wilson's career, actually. You know what I'm saying? So
Marshawn Lynch has been on a couple of podcasts. He was on All That Smoke. And Steven Jackson said basically, and Marshawn Lynch said that changed everything. He said, because you had guys that basically, he said, hey man, their families depend on them, everything. He said the money, the endorsements and stuff these guys would have gotten would have been a game changer. Plus, I think that Seattle team had enough swag that they would say, hey man, we're gonna try to make history. We're gonna win 3 straight.
Yeah.
I think they could have done it.
Yeah, I
really
think
do.
so too. I think so too. So that was one.
Yep.
And then of course you mentioned the Falcons, the 28-3. Very, personally, that's a very sad moment in my life. So I'm not going to touch on this long, but we gave him a gift. Shout out to Shanahan in Seattle. In San Francisco. And man, I don't understand the play calling. I don't understand the philosophy. Just run the ball 3 times, kick the field. We're on the 21-yard line, kick the field goal, and Julio Jones' catch is played every year if we win that game.
The greatest catch in football history. Right.
So now you only Atlanta Falcon fans remember that catch, man. And sports talk people like yourself. That's the only people that remember that play because we lost the game in such a terrible fashion. So that was a fortunate gift to Tom Brady. And then like you said before, you mentioned Kansas City. When that dude jumped off sides.
Oh yeah, bro. Come on.
Hey, because the game is over. The game is over.
Right.
But he jumps off sides and gives them another fortunate situation to get back to the Super Bowl. Hey, man, Tom Brady, very fortunate. But here's the balance part I was talking about. Here's the balance. Those 2 Super Bowl losses to the New York Giants.
Oh, yeah, bro. True.
That's the balance. Because there's no way the Giants are supposed to beat those New England Patriots teams, especially the one that was going for 18-0. That was ridiculous. Right. So, hey, man, it's balance in the world. Things happen the way they happen. And, shout out to Eli Manning on those 2 Super Bowl victories. If I'm not mistaken, you tell me, Jonathan, I think both of them teams were 9-17, right? Or something like that going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and
I know one of them was for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That first year, what he did was unprecedented because he had to beat back-to-back. He beat Brett Favre and then Tom Brady. Just same thing, making plays late. Like he was like Mr. Clutch, and both of them, because Green Bay looked like they were going to win that game in the 4th quarter, and he did the same thing. He brought the Giants on a comeback. I think got in overtime, and that was it.
Yeah. So amazing.
Man,
amazing. So, hey, shout out to them. But in closing, I know we're about to get off. I just wanted to talk about this real briefly if you haven't already talked about it. The Belichick Kraft snubs for the Hall of Fame. What is that all about, Jonathan?
It's politics. They don't like Belichick. And they really don't like Kraft because the way both guys kind of handle their business after they kind of parted ways. Obviously, Belichick, listen, I tell everybody, I say, look, I'm younger than Belichick, and there's no question in my mind if, a college co-ed or, post-co-ed said she was very interested in hanging out with me, it would be hard for me to resist. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to try to put a lie out here.
Right.
And with Kraft, a lot of people felt that he kind of poisoned the water with the Falcons and told Arthur Blank, you don't want that guy. So, and then, of course, which is water over the bridge, but, they set him up with the okie doke at the massage parlor at out there off Front Street.
Yeah.
And it's political, man. If people don't like you, they're like, we gonna go in, but first ballot is a big deal. So these boys make their mind, we're not letting you be no first ballot. That's not happening.
Wow.
And especially since the Patriots are in the game. They say, oh no, bro, y'all gonna have to wait. Y'all gonna sit down somewhere.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's just a ridiculous thing to me. Both of their credentials speak Hall of Fame all day, all night. And if anybody's listening to this that can go ahead and make this happen, please do. But Kraft is 85 years old. So listen, man, let's get this man in before he passes. Let's give him his flowers while he's still here. That's what I would like to see happen, man. Because you can't wait and put them all in when Tom Brady becomes eligible, which I thought that might be what they're trying to do. But now that you give me that other information, can you wait that long? I don't know. How many more years does Tom Brady have before he's eligible? Do you know how many? I know
all
it's 5
I know is,
years.
man, these people in sports are hardcore, man. Because think about it.
Mm-hmm.
They waited until Pete Rose died. It's okay. We let him back in.
That's
now.
true. That's true. That's true.
They're cold-blooded, man. I mean, sports guys are cold-blooded. And to this day, I mean, the guy been in the grave. I think some of his kids been in the grave, but sure as Joe Jackson, they're like, hey, man, you was part of that crew. So you're not getting in baseball. And he was like, hey, I didn't bet at all. And matter of fact, if you look at the stats for that World Series, the guy I think batted like 380 or something like that. He said, we don't care what you did. You was part of them sneaky guys, and you're out.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Shoeless Joe Jackson. Yeah, man. Yep. So that's crazy. So my last statement for the night, Jonathan, and now this is what I am happy about with this NFL Hall of Fame class, who's a finalist, L.C. Greenwood. Now I'm very excited about that because I know his daughter, and and here's the amazing thing: I met her years ago, and I'm thinking he was already in the NFL, Jonathan, and she was telling me, nah, he's not in. And we kind of feel a certain way about that, and I'm like, what? And when I went and looked it up, and he was not in, I'm like, this is incredible. He was a key piece of that defense. And I'm like, all these other guys are in, and your dad is not in. So, hey, shout out L.C. Greenwood, and I pray that he is in the Hall of Fame this upcoming class that he's a finalist of. So, yeah, I understand Belichick and Kraft not in, but I am very happy about Greenwood moving forward. So I hope he is actually in the Hall of Fame, and he's going to be named very soon. They'll make the announcement very soon, I hope.
Well, the interesting thing about L.C. Greenwood for me is I actually had a chance to meet him when he was inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame here in Atlanta.
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yep. I was there. He actually has some, if I'm not mistaken, he has some gold shoes on there. So, yep, I did have a chance to meet him. I tell you, that really, for me, was one of the great highlights because I met him. I met Mel Blount. Of course, the two founders, Shaq Harris and Doug Williams. I mean, just a whole bunch of legendary guys in that season. I'm so happy I was able to meet him before he passed, man. Like I said, it was just incredible, meeting those guys. Well, speaking of meeting people, it's time for you people watching to find out more about Mr. Barry Brown. So, Mr. Barry Brown, the floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, everybody. I'm Barry Brown, author of the Amazon bestseller, the #1 book for youth, student athletes around the world, the Student Athlete Playbook, Success in the Classroom, Sports, and Life. I'm also one of the leaders of the nonprofit organization, Youth Education and Sports, where we meet young people, young student athletes where they are and help them develop a life plan so they can become and develop the great character, use the great tools they are blessed with to become the outstanding adults they're destined to be. And so I'm always honored to be here with Jonathan Simmons on Real Talk Sports, and I thank you. So if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, and you want to physically go get the books, you can go to Madu Bookstore. You got to go before the end of March because Madu Bookstore inside of Greenbrier Mall is closing. So make sure you go there, pick up your Student Athlete Playbook and anything else that you want to pick up there, and make sure Sister Nia sells everything before she closes, the legendary store that's been in the community for 30 plus years. And then out in the South Lake area, shout out to the Morrow High Mustangs. You can go buy Nubian books, see Marcus, and he'll make sure you get your copy of the Student Athlete Playbook and all the great things they have, from the sorority and fraternity items to everything else you may need. And then, of course, if you want it sent to your house, just go to Amazon Kindle, type in the Student Athlete Playbook, order your copies, and they'll come right to your house. So thank you, Jonathan, for always having me on the show. And I love talking sports with you, brother. And everyone have a great night.
And that's Mr. Barry Brown. All right, guys, before we let you go, I will mention to you, for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a real live minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I just want to remind you, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, that is something that's imperative. Why? Because that's the only way you can get into heaven and avoid that nasty, terrible place called hell. I don't know about you, but I like that idea a lot better than the second. Until next time we get back together again, we simply say, as we do each week, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.